VVitch. Written and directed by Robert Eggers. And this movie takes place during the 1600s in New England. And as we all know, or have learned over the years, that life back then was a lot different than it is now. Towns, communities back in those days, very territorial. A lot of towns have walls built around them. Not many outsiders are welcomed in. And people are often banished from these towns if their views differ from the community's goals, set values, and what have you. This family, very religious and very devoted to their religion. Long story short, they are banished from the town. They are not welcome anymore. Right away, it brings us into this plot. This family has to now deal with the conditions of the frontier and try to survive. And the father and mom are very optimistic. They think it's a great thing. They are very devoted to their religion, and others within the town didn't see it the way they did. So they're like, fine, I don't want to be a part of this town. I'd rather be on my own. And they're on their own now. So they finally find some land, a farm, to make their own, right on the edge of a huge, vast, thick forest. And it's a very slow paced film. And what I mean by that is once they settle in on this farm, a lot of what takes place, at least at the start, is them going about their general duties throughout the day, getting food for the table, tending and trying to plant crops. With that being said, people are disappearing, animals are dying, and they're very unaware of how it's happening. So their natural instinct is to be suspicious of one another. They think that there is a higher power, supernatural power. The forest, which they live right on the outskirts of, the movie does a really good job of keeping it suspicious to not only the family, but to us too. They very sparingly go into the forest to search for items they need in order to survive. But once they go into the forest, bad things happen in one way or another. Someone is taken into the forest and disappears. Someone goes into the forest, doesn't come back. One by one, distrusting one another, and eventually deteriorating the family. The movie is shot really, really well. Each scene is well crafted. A lot of time was put into it. It's a very dark, eerie film. There's a lot of scenes that are very disturbing. They don't make the film black and white, but the color scale of the movie is very dull. The colors are darker, and I think that kind of plays along with what the vibe is set for the movie. It's very dialogue heavy amongst the family, and that's also to give the to let you know like what is going on within the family. Their suspicion for one another is through how they speak to one another, how they treat one another from the start to the middle and to the end. But the language which they speak, it's English, but it's very old-fashioned English. English that we don't even speak today. It's very hard to actually follow for the first while of the movie. Then as the plot kind of unravels and reveals itself, then you can start to follow what they're actually talking about. But it takes you maybe like once or twice to actually really understand what's going on. Because this movie is such a slow burn through its duration, it really captures the growing suspicion and concern each family member has within the family. And as family members start to get affected and or disappear, it only grows the fear amongst them, and also the environment too is very unforgiving too, with the dull color scale to, the way the movie's shot and the colors, it sets the tone for what is happening to this family, but also what's to happen in the future for this family, and it's as we can probably imagine, it's not the best situation, um, but very well played throughout the movie, and how the movie ends with its almost unanswered questions. It's very interesting. It keeps you wanting to like understand and know more about what happened throughout the movie and what the ending actually means. Um, it's a very well crafted movie, and I enjoy it very much.